Chapter 10. Caden. Why did everyone think they had to tell Grayle the truth? Everyone except Austin, and here he was circling, and emerging like a vulture who smelled a helpless animal. I'd walked away from my parents to talk to some of the people I hadn't seen in years after graduation, except maybe at an occasional funeral, and an infrequent visit to church on Christmas and Easter. I guessed we would have a lot of catching up to do, but I wasn't ready for the questions of, "Where have you been and what have you been doing?" when everyone knew everyone's business and clearly they could look around and see what I'd been up to. I was relieved when Bryan rushed over to where I stood in the middle of some high school friends, and a teacher I knew had found a job at the local college. Bryan came to warn me that Austin was afoot, and probably stalking Grayle as usual. He'd whispered in my ear that he had something else to tell me, because this was old news and I'd spotted both of them. My Grayle radar was always on high alert because it was there in my pants. "What now, Bryan?" I said impatiently. "Have you seen Grayle?" I couldn't miss him, he's taller than most men in this place. "I just thought I'd give you the heads up. He caught me talking to Tony and his husband Parker, and I froze when he said that you were his, and to leave you alone. I was nervous because I've never had any man approach me like that. I guess he hadn't, because he was the one fucking around on his partner. So I assume you told him everything." I had no choice, not quite everything. I said that I was a fake boyfriend, and I had only met you recently, and I was just helping out in the store, and you weren't my type. "Fuck you, Bryan. Now I have to find someone else." "Why are you trying to find someone to act as a fake boyfriend when anyone can see that this man is crazy about you, and the way you're acting, you feel the same way," Bryan reminded me. "I didn't know you were squeamish, Bryan. A man who fucks around on his partner all the time should be made of sterner stuff," I said. To quote, "I didn't know who, and at this minute I didn't give a fuck. Those words belong to me now. If you keep fucking around looking for fake boyfriends, then sooner or later even Grayle will give up on you," Bryan said, to get revenge for my mean, insensitive words. His words had the effect I didn't expect. "I'm sorry, Bryan. I know you were trying to help me. I'll take that into consideration, but I'd been involved in the conversation, and I didn't see Grayle walk up behind me and whisper in my ear. Can we go outside, sit at one of the tables, and talk?" I was in shock, and I didn't have time to think everything through. I didn't expect to talk to him, let alone see him. I wished I had, but I didn't expect anything. "I don't think we have much to talk about, and it's chilly, and I'm not dressed for the weather." I had on my dark blue tee with my white logo of a cup and saucer, and the name Coffee, Tea and Thee in large letters written on it. "You can wear my jacket." Although I wanted to wear anything that belonged to Grayle, with his aftershave wafting in my senses mixed with coffee and brewed tea swirling around my nose, I shook my head. Grayle held one hand behind his back, and then he extended his hand and said, "This is for you, and don't tell me you don't want it." I wanted a lot of things from Grayle, least of all a beautiful teddy bear. I wanted us to find common ground, where we could get on with loving and forgiving each other. My eyes locked with Gray's, and a smile reached them, and he matched my smile with his wide, sexy, amazing one. "And isn't that nice, Cade? That young man gave you a gift. And he's so handsome." "I wish, never mind," my mother said. I knew exactly what she wanted to say. She'd always said when my father wasn't around how handsome he used to be, and tall, as if no one remembered. He was an old man now, and no one was what they used to be. And my father was probably telling his friends how beautiful my mother was, but when you were in love the way they were and elderly, it didn't matter anymore. But my mother loved to fill up a conversation with things no young people talked about. Just the things I didn't want her to tell Grayle. He would have probably thought about that fucking age difference, and there we'd go again. "You must like my son, young man. And how did you know he was partial to teddy bears?" My mother leaned and peeked into the small bag, and then raised her head and looked up at Grayle. I knew what she was looking for. "A mother knows when someone likes or loves their child," she'd always say to me, when I'd bring those losers around to meet her and my father. Then I had no sense of myself and no ideas or knowledge of what to look for in a man. But the moment I met Grayle, it was something about him where I believed deep in my soul that he was all I was looking for, and come hell or high water, as they said, he would be the only man I'd ever want and love. "Oh, but I do love your son, Mrs. Walker." Did he say he loved me, and to my mother? I'd heard him right, because he looked at me with those magnificent blue eyes that had captivated me from the very beginning of this merry-go-round I'd been on. And like a child, I'd enjoyed it so much that I didn't want to get off because my love was waiting for me, and he was standing there talking to my mother. "Why hasn't he brought you around?" my mother asked, slanting her head perplexed. She saw something between us only a mother could see. I almost said that I wanted to when I first met him, but he couldn't. "Because he's married to me," Austin stated, inserting that a piece of information that no one wanted to hear, especially me, and creating a horrible, embarrassing situation for my mother. Just when she thought I'd found someone that would be with me, take care of me, and worry about me, so she didn't have to. But here came the one man who had managed to fuck up everyone's life and was here again tearing mine apart, and hurting not only me and Grayle, but he'd added another body to his shameful collection of good people. "Oh," my mother said, placing her hand to her mouth as if she'd been left speechless, which was unusual for her. She moved out of the line of fire when she saw Grayle's blue eyes turn from a warm blue to a stormy bluish black. "Why did you do that?" he barked, turning to face Austin. "Because I thought people should know that we're married and have a baby." Austin glanced over at me, as if he thought I'd go running into the night screaming. I had already done that, and I wasn't going to repeat it. "So when are you getting a divorce? Because I don't mind letting the whole town know that I'm seeing a married man," I said. "I have nothing against fucking him either." Now why the fuck did I say that? Because now I could see Grayle's face turn pale, and he closed his eyes for a second. "We need to talk, Caden." He took my wrist and dragged me out the front door, and when we were outside in the cool air where I could catch my breath, and my heart had time to stop racing, he said, "Sit down." "Why do I have to sit?" He narrowed his gaze in my direction. "Because I said so, and I'm the oldest here. It seems that Mr. and Mrs. Walker spared the rod and spoiled the child. And right now I feel like using my palm on your sweet round ass. And just about now I feel. Please sit, Cade, and listen to what I have to say." "All right, and this better not be about you marrying that. I didn't have the words to complete my sentence. I was sure Gray knew what I meant. I plopped down in the cheap outdoor chairs that were more for sitting and leaving than comfort and staying. I thought after I'd sat on the hard chairs, I need to change these. I needed people to stay for as long as possible and eat, drink, and buy, not get up and run. What's so important, and why would you bring Austin here of all places? I've been trying to be with you, and everything that has to do with you, he's always there. That's what I wanted to tell you. I made an agreement with him to marry him. I had hoped you didn't. But I see that you have." Gray's eyes lowered, and he held on to his hands as if he thought someone was going to yank them away. "But I did, and before you say any more, it's done. I didn't think this through. All I saw was being a father. I couldn't wait any longer. That hurt. We were married last week. But why would you do something like that when you told my mother that you loved me?" "I do love you, Cade, but I wanted a child too, and that was the only way I could have one. We could have adopted one together, or didn't you think about that?" I said, my voice not as strong as before. "I did when I came to the store that night to tell you, and you started fucking around with Bryan, and that slap on his ass did it for me. I wasn't thinking straight then. I thought he was a bottom, and that's what you liked because of you, and the way you made love to me." Gray looked down and bit his bottom lip. I could have kicked myself. If I hadn't been so impetuous, I would be with Gray now. My father had warned me to calm down and not allow my emotions to rule me, and clearly I hadn't learned a damn thing. When my head cleared, I realized what Gray had said. The baby is a girl. Her name is Amy. Austin had a girl. Now he's tied to you forever, and I don't have a chance. He lied to you before, and now he's not going to get that divorce I bet he promised. He doesn't want to lose you. A man like you, why would any man want to walk away? He can have everything he wants. You to be consumed with his. I mean your child, and never have time to see what he's about. That's the only way I could get custody of her. No one, not even the mother, wanted the baby. I would have wanted her, but you didn't tell me, I said. Because you're too young to be responsible for a baby. And I'm too old to wait for you to decide. It was a good thing I thought before I said something, but then it was my nature to say what I felt. In my defense, I said, there are fathers much younger than I am who take care of their children, and they have no help. It seems the father is old enough, and he's the least likely person to be responsible for anything, not even a cat, and cats can take care of themselves, I argued. I stood because it was cold and because I'd heard enough. Then Grayle pushed his arms through his sleeves, took off his jacket, and draped his dress coat over my shoulders. He stepped close to me, wrapped his arms around me, and my body was flush against his as I felt his covered cock vibrate against mine. Tell me that you love me, Cade. I did love him, and right now I wanted to be in his arms and enjoying his body away from the eyes of our friends and my parents. As far as Austin, I'd have an orgy in front of him if it would get rid of him. But sad to say, he'd probably enjoy watching. I wished the fuck everyone would go home. I knew it was late, but it appeared that no one wanted to leave the store. That was what I got for letting Lane make it so comfortable that the students wanted to pitch a tent and not go to classes come tomorrow. Oh yes, tomorrow was Saturday, and there were only a few classes, and tomorrow would be a big day for me as far as sales would go. And as far as my love life went, it was completely fucked up, and I didn't think it was going to get better soon, because I didn't open my mouth to tell Gray that I loved him.